Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles did not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material and use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law.
Mexicano bandido, todo el barrio prendido, siempre ando bien cuido, siempre poniendo ruido. Mexicano está el grito de guerra, yo defiendo mi tierra, no me dejo de nadie, yo cuido a los míos, mi raza se aferra. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera, yo la levanto por donde quiera, verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera, el barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera, yo la levanto por donde quiera, verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera, el barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Me voy tendido, me voy empinando mi bote, un poco mareado por la bebida y el borlote, me tiene hasta la riata la gente con su mitote, pero me despreocupo, me pelan todo el garrote, me para la chota, ya es por mi apariencia, que hay tantos delitos, que hay tanta demencia, yo no cargo nada, no más mi presencia, pinche puerco joto, atente a las consecuencias, si no topa el poli en breve nos para en la calle, no puede salir uno conmigo porque ya hay detalle, no quiere que conteste, quiere que yo solo calle, quiere mi dinero pero que chinga su madre, a la dica este sistema nos quieren ver abajo, pero tumbar gente quien les dijo que es trabajo, puro chingar al indio, váyanse mucho al carajo, loco no me rajo, lo bueno porque se armó la alianza más pesada del país, todo el mundo ya conoce las rimas de estos MCs, pa' ponerme más feliz, unos paisas de hachís, mis paisas en el gabacho bien truchas con la polis, loco en Guanajuato con los ojos bien tumbados, de coto con el quesada, rifando por todos lados, atento si prendo un blunt, en cabina cuando grabo, represento Nuevo León, junto a mi carnal el Davo, cuando voy pa' Jalisco el pasado está olvidado, con el perro de la C bien grifo, pedo y enfiestado, chécate mi banderón, unido como había soñado, bien bajado ese balón, compa lefty bien bajado, puro hip hop mexa, hasta que amanezca, pásenme un mezcal y que no se apague la yesca, ya saben que aquí andamos pilas pa' lo que se ofrezca, si escribo estas rimas es pa' que se enorgullezca. Verde marihuana, blanca cocaína, roja la sangre que escurre de una nueva herida. Yo salí de la ruina, nunca se me olvida. Con disciplina y respeto sigo en siempre la movida. Ando bien high, la vida es un freestyle. Disfruta lo que hay, vivo entre el bien y el mal, carnal. Crazy life todo el día, viendo live. Pinto tu barda con spray, lo que canto es real. Azules y rojas las sirenas que me persiguen. No suben pa' la virgen, salen todos cuando chifle. Mi barrio no lo pisen, que andamos todos grises. Maldito policía, no quiero que me revises.
prende la mota en Canala o en Hitter. Ando con mi flota y el dealer. Tenemos lo que se te ofrezca, tú nada más pide. Me dijo mi madre que de la envidia me cuide.
Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera.
Ya, ábranse cabrones, llegó el mexicano partiendo sin necesidad de palancas. Todos jugamos en la misma liga, yo soy titular, tú ves desde la banca. Disfruto cada cosa que me pasa, colaboro y mi carrera se levanta. El mismo cabrón que antes no tenía nada se la pasa viajando y dice que canta. Por eso me caga enfermarme de la garganta. Pero aguanta, traigo mata natural y humo de planta. 2, 3 cabrones dando lata y yo haciendo más plata. De esto la vida se trata y pa' que sepas no es barata. En da bolos desbarata con cada escalón que sube. Yo tuve la suerte de hacerme fama en YouTube. Hay 2, 3 raperos de antaño que me bajé de su nube. Los mandé pa' su casa y de premio hasta les pagué el Uber. Si alguien me tira es porque sabe bien que domino el negocio y quiere de mi parte. No quiero darlas de grande, pero si me tiras la neta me toca humillarte. Soy capitán, llevo el estandarte. Somos muy pocos los que hacemos arte. Este flow si es de Marte, tú dale like y comparte.
México lindo y bandido, diario a Diosito le pido que me cuide a la familia si un día el cora ya no late. Estoy bendecido porque me cuidan los míos. Orgullosamente me exatamos locos de remate. Jaque mate, no hable de volar si viene gateando. La cosa por la frontera se pone violenta, no importa el rango. Toda la raza jalándole duro, si hay algo seguro es la muerte endondeando. Sudor y la sangre en la frente, los de alzada controlando. Se roban la atención, ya saben quiénes son. Vatos locos con sazón como el de un corridón. No quiera tomarme el pelo si ando todo pelón. Levantando la bandera, viva México cabrón.
Es el perrito de la C. La bandera con un águila, Simón, mi tierra es esta. Me vale si mi piel o si mi acento les molesta. Acá jalan horas extras, nunca duermen la siesta. Están los que van pa'l jale y los que la viven de fiesta. Otros que en el pintón se tatúan de corazón. 3 colores en el pecho, morirían por su nación. Aunque su puto gobierno los puso en la situación de no terminar la escuela y terminar en la prisión. ¡Viva México, ladrones! ¿Qué hubo, el expresidente? Ya saben que por mí policías chinguen a 20. Y ahí están mis 20 pa' la cagua. Aguas, que es tierra caliente de Chiapas hasta Chihuahua. Wow, 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 yipi-yo, yipi-yucas. Buenas, Montequín, Aguas, Tijuas y San Lucas. San Luis Potoyes, Mataulipas, La Puebluca. Dime si o no, loco, acá tienen lo que buscas.
Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera.
Puro hip hop mexa, perros, 2023.
Ey yo, ey yo.
Somos la santa carnal.
Los machilones de la plaza.
Oye, DJ Dundeque en los scratches. Desde alzada, mi perro. No saben quién soy o sí. Oye.
Viva México, cabrones.
El autor viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés de origen alemán. Si nos remontamos al comienzo, entonces hallaremos que la ignorancia y el temor crearon a los dioses. La fantasía, el entusiasmo o el engaño los adornaron o desfiguraron. La debilidad les rinde culto, la credulidad los conserva, la costumbre los respeta y la tiranía los apoya para que la ceguera de los hombres sirva a sus propios intereses.
A ver, que alguien me explique.
Are you?
Is this one? No, that one.
That's
Where the hell is it? Did I lose it?
turkey.
Man, damn it. I lost it. What the fuck?
Eat my.
Bro, that sucks. That sucks. I thought I had a gotcha, bitch, but apparently I don't. Fuck. All right, let's get to it. Let's see. What up, bro? Good to have you here. Let's get to it. Part 3. We're not gonna go long like last time. We do about an hour, and then we going through it because I know you guys have work to do. It's 9 o'clock at night, and some of you guys have like 12 o'clock and shit. So I get it. Sorry. These are the only times I can actually do classes until the weather gets better. Forgive me, for I do not know what I do. Anyhow, let's get going, man. Fuck, let's get fucking going. All right, part 3, Cristobal Colon, Cristobal Colon, Cristobal Colon. But before we get into that, I want to point out something. The constant changing, the constant illusion. They always got to give you something new because they know that for humankind gets bored quickly. After a few years, they want some new hope. Maybe this story will actually follow through. Let's listen in. And then we'll get to the topic.
Watch this.
Martin Luther didn't like the Catholic Church and founded the Lutheran Church. Calvin didn't like the Lutheran Church and founded the Reformed or Calvinist Church. Henry VIII didn't like being denied Catholic marriage and founded the Anglican Church. John Smith disliked the Anglican Church and founded the Baptist Church. William Miller didn't like the Baptist Church and founded the Adventist movement. Ellen G. White really liked what William Miller said and founded the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Charles T. Russell didn't like the Adventist Church and founded Jehovah's Witnesses. Joseph Smith disliked the Methodist Church and founded the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, also known as the Mormons. John Wesley disliked the Anglican Church and founded the Methodist Church. Some pastors didn't like the Methodist Church and founded the Pentecostal Church. Many did not like the Pentecostal Church and founded thousands of churches like Stop Suffering, Assemblies of God, Light of the World, etc. The evangelical movement came from the Baptist Church, while the born-again movement came from the evangelical churches. The born-again faith emerged in the late 1930s in the U.S., and it gained popularity in the 1970s and 1980s, its golden age. There are now 35,000 different so-called Christian religions.
Shit, I didn't even know that damn thing. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Hold on a second. No, hold on, that one.
That's right.
Oh, damn, I didn't know. 35,000 religions. Excuse me, Christian ones.
Oh,
that's gonna hurt. And they all believe in the Christmas Christian Jesus. They all believe in that guy. Even though the Old Testament said that he was going to come back one time, or this angel spirit entity, but in the New Testament, he came back 7 times. 7 times.
A ver, que alguien me explique.
Are you?
Gotta wonder, man. Come on, man. We're adults now. We cannot just fall for any buffoonery. We've had them already too long, man. Too fucking long, bro. Let me see what I pulled this one for. Oh, that's right. Let's continue with the same vein.
The guy that basically made up the rapture is also the original Christian Zionist. His name is John Nelson Darby, and this is a photograph we have of him because he did this in the 1830s. The rapture is not something that was in the Bible. It came out of this guy's mind. He founded a branch of Christianity called dispensationalism, and he preached about a pre-tribulation rapture where all the good Christians would get snapped up. And in order for that to happen, the Jews needed to be in Israel in order to facilitate his end times prophecies. So he basically came up with the concept of Christian Zionism as a side effect of his rapture nonsense, and gave the Jewish Zionists necessary allies in their fight to steal Palestine. There are very few people in history that have caused more problems than this man. All that crazy shit that evangelicals talk about, fucking the end of the world, and then allying with Israel, and then basically giving Palestine to the Israelis. You can thank this guy. And like very few people know this guy's name. I don't know why, but John Nelson Darby, that's him.
Nelson Darby. Now, in case you guys don't know, BHI, which is Black Hebrew Israelite or Israelism, so to speak. For lack of better words, I don't got another term for it. A lot of us came out of that doctrine. You guys have to understand that they went through the same shit. Rabbi Matthews, and then there's another guy, like a walrus-looking dude before him. One guy believed one thing, the other guy believed another thing. You see that, back in the day, they're all one group, right? If you go back to their root, they all came from one group, then they all broke off because one guy didn't agree with this, the other guy didn't agree with that. Then you got IUIC, ISUPK, then you had, what's that other group that fucking got destroyed by being butt plugged? Fuck, I can't even remember their fucking name anymore, man. They're called Destiny now. Like Destiny's Child and shit. Like, what's up? Everyone want to put a ring on it. What's Sakari, man? How can I fucking forget that? And then GMS. They all broke off from one fucking branch, one tree. Same shit, but the same thing. How is it any different? Now, I'm going to show you a video that I was looking for the other day, and I couldn't find it, but I am so thankful that our father brought it to my attention, and he said, son, it's called like black magic. Okay? No pun intended here. But this is where this is one of the main reasons BHIs are involved. Now, let me say this. You may think this is not part of the topic. It sure damn hell is. Because we are identifying who Cristobal Colon came from, as well as the people that helped them. See, we have to look at history in a whole different perspective. Unlike what you thought, que vino el gringo y te cogió, güey. Nah, it wasn't necessarily like that, okay? Listen to me. We just went through several examples. Let's watch this one more time.
Watch this.
Martin Luther didn't like the Catholic Church and founded the Lutheran Church. Calvin didn't like the Lutheran Church and founded the Reformed or Calvinist Church. Henry VIII didn't like being denied Catholic marriage and founded the Anglican Church. John Smith disliked the Anglican Church and founded the Baptist Church. William Miller didn't like the Baptist Church and founded the Adventist movement. Ellen G. White really liked what William Miller said and founded the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Charles T. Russell didn't like the Adventist Church and founded Jehovah's Witnesses. Joseph Smith disliked the Methodist Church and founded the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, also known as the Mormons. John Wesley disliked the Anglican Church and founded the Methodist Church. Some pastors didn't like the Methodist Church and founded the Pentecostal Church. Many did not like the Pentecostal Church and founded thousands of churches like Stop Suffering, Assemblies of God, Light of the World, etc. The evangelical movement came from the Baptist Church, while the born-again movement came from the evangelical churches. The born-again faith emerged in the late 1930s in the U.S., and it gained popularity in the 1970s and 1980s, its golden age. There are now 35,000 different so-called Christian religions.
Is this any different? They believe one thing, they believe another thing, they believe another thing. It's no different. They all branched out because one said, nah, I don't like the way that you say this, or you run the camp like that, or the way you break that down and the way we break that down. And you're not supposed to wear Assyrian fringes. You're supposed to wear fringes on only the corners, and you know what I mean? And Jesus it doesn't matter the name of him. And you got to say, Yahweh Shabbat, and you got to say, what's that shit? Yahweh Bahashem, whatever the fuck it is, bro. Like, this is no different than that shit. I don't understand why it's so confusing for some of you. I really don't get it. Now let's find out where the root comes from. And remember, keep in mind that the video we just saw regarding many, many, many religions, because some didn't agree with the other, have one root, which is Catholicism. And we know how fucking hollow that shit is. So this is no different, okay? It's a few minutes, so just bear with me and please fucking watch it. And while you're here, there's no need to to donate or give anything to, we're not asking for none of that. And when I say we, it's us. It's just me, you know what I'm saying? But at least, if you like what you're hearing, share it. Subscribe. Shit. Help us. Help this channel grow. You know, I really am focusing on my work a lot, fam. I wish I could do more videos like I used to and put more time in it and study. Bro, it's hard, man. Y'all don't even know the fucking time that gets. You guys think that all these guys that have channels, you know what I'm saying? And bro, they got help. They got help doing the thumbnail. They got help doing the research. They got help doing this and the editing and all that and that and blah, 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 and blah, blah. I got none. I'm not saying I'm complaining. I'm just telling you. Can you please like, share? And if you like it, fucking subscribe. All right? Let's watch, because you need to understand how deep this fucking rabbit hole is when it comes to black or white Jesus. Remember, keep in mind, all this is all relative, family. Keep in mind that in 1492, they came in his name. But these people weren't necessarily Catholics. And you're going to find out. Let's go.
What's up, everybody? It's Killer BD Doggone Witch Finder General. You got a witch, I burn them up. Just look at y'all leader. Look at y'all Hebrew Israelite founder, Mr. Rabbi Matthews, practicing black magic. Putting that black magic on y'all. That's what got your heads all messed up, thinking y'all Israelite. Let me read this to y'all. Matthews' personal papers in the Sloanberg Library in New York includes 2 amulets of geometric design in Hebrew words borrowed in part from the 6th and 7th book of Moses. What's the 6th and 7th book of Moses? A book on witchcraft, how to perform black magic.
I've shared that book with y'all. Let me see. Hold on. I'm not going to read it. I don't read it. I use it as reference. I don't ever read it. I don't ever apply none of that shit. I don't ever draw none of that stuff. Look, man, I never played with the Ouija board, okay? That's how, since I was young, I always had this, I don't know, this, not fear, but this caution with that book. I'm like, you know what? This shit may not be real, but I don't give a shit. I ain't fucking with it. So this is what he's talking about. The 6th and 7th book of Moses, books of Moses, mystery and all mysteries. The citations on all spirits, the spirits in the burning bush, the spirit in the burning bush, helmet of Moses and Aaron, healing by amulets. Healing by amulets. What does the scripture talk about amulets? Those that, you know, familiar spirits, amulets, incantations. Like, we know that should not be even the conversation in you with that belief. Rare old Mosaic books of the Talmud and Kabbalah. That's why we're going to continue to dig deep into this fucking Cristobal Culon. These people, by the way, these Sephardic Jews, they practice Kabbalah, Talmudic traditions. Very prominent on this. What was his name? Savatai Sevi was in the 1600s, if I'm not mistaken. And then you had another guy named Maimonides as well, around that era, 200 year or 100 years before. But they all had this understanding and concept of the Talmud and amulets and incantations. This is not a joke. This is real shit. Okay, matter of fact, let me go back to it real quick. Look, listen, I am not here to just say dumb shit and argue with people about dumb stuff. I don't give a fuck about that, bro. I got shit to do, bro. I got a family. I got goals to fucking achieve. You know what I'm saying? We don't know when the end comes. When it comes, it comes. I'm still gonna live my life. That's the way you're supposed to do it. Now, look, you see all of this first table of spirits and heirs. Please do me a favor. Don't fucking, I don't know. I can't tell y'all what the fuck to do. All I'm telling you is do not do this, man. The 4th table of spirits of earth. You don't even know what kind of doors you open. Now, let me give you the design that your boy over here, your little boy, Bishop Matthew. All of a sudden, people get offended. I can't believe you're talking to Bishop Matthew. Like, man, fuck him and fuck Nate. Okay, Nate the Snake with his Jerry Curl juice. Hey, listen, man. When a motherfucker like that calls you a spick, oh no, wetback, not even a spick, bro. He didn't even call it. He didn't even call that dude a spick. And by the way, that dude was a Puerto Rican. By the way, okay. He called him a wetback. He called that Puerto Rican a wetback, bro. mean, who's technically the fucking serious wetback? You know, black people were brought on ships over here. Who the fuck is a real wetback? Their backs were totally fucking wet. That salty fucking water. It sure as hell ain't snow. You get snow back, but on the you know. Anyways, as I'm showing you this book, right? Look, this is real shit. Like, I'm not lying to you, family. You have to understand. What's up? 26. Fuck, man. I already taken 26 minutes of this time. Man, I may throw a little bit more time in there, bro. Okay. I just think this is an important emphasis so you can understand who are your leaders, your so-called elders. Extract from the magical Kabbalah of the 6th and 7th books of Moses. Okay? This is what he's talking about, these incantations, these drawings, these things that these people do. Watch, it's going to come up. So, like, this is all a meaning of something. Some people write this shit in their hands. Some people write this shit on a piece of paper. Some people do this shit and put it under their pillows. Like, they really do believe in this concept. Okay, man, where's that picture at? Hold on. Is it over here? Every time I go, I think I may need a new. I kept saying it. I keep saying it. Anyways, I probably passed it. All right, but it's that book.
These amulets offer a unparalleled. Let me say this too. That book ain't written by no black people. That book was written in France by some white folk. These amulets offer a
Freemasons. Funny that he says it was written in France. By the way, I have that book, right? Oh, it's like a chapter, not a whole book. But if in case you know, Freemasonry really manifested in France, in a sense where it migrated or organically developed outside of its influences, but it was predominant in France, and then it spread everywhere.
Unparalleled view into the hidden transcript and the private settings where Rabbi Matthew performed the most secret, transformative rituals at the hidden heart of Black Israelism. The square amulet in Matthew's personal papers was modified from second tablet of the Spirit of Fire found on page 16 of the 6th and 7th book of Moses. What makes the derivation of Matthew's diagram from the Lawrence diagram indisputable is the fact that Lawrence had reproduced a calligraphic error in the Hebrew that Matthew has repeated. So basically, Matthew's bit off the damn book, right? That he was known for doing shit like that, biting off of something and using it for their own. The word at the bottom, ha-kak, meaning the power, has been miswritten. An errant vertical line closes the gap of the middle letters. See?
Nobody in no Black Hebrew Israelite camp, school, or group has ever defended this, talked about this, saying it's not true. That wasn't his way. Matter of fact, I have a book called Lost Tribes, a Myth that mentions this dude. And they emphasize that these people were converts, proselytes. Remember the class before? That's why I'm doing it in pieces. But the brothers and sisters that actually watch this channel, and I know some of you guys actually watch it and, you know, listen the whole thing. That's why I'm breaking it down. Let's continue. Again, it's all, listen, family, the way I move, trust and believe that the pieces come together. Just bear with me. Walk with me, please. It's a little snowy and hot.
See this here? I can skip y'all. I might share this one day. I might share this with y'all one day. The two amulets shed light on Matthew's esoteric theology, part of the secret knowledge at the heart of his Black Israelite belief.
I'm gonna let it play now.
Several phrases in the fractured Hebrew on the diagram. The top one of which can be translated, "Rise and give me good luck." Just below the median line of the Hebrew can be translated, "Within the 8th fire, you should give me life." And the bottom line may read either, "The 8th God should be my father," or "The 8th God, my father." At the simplest level, the diagram appears to be a good luck charm. But at the higher level, the omelet amplifies and expands on Matthew's theology. In later decades, Matthew taught that these were 7 spirits or elements of God in 12 heavens, which his daughter implicated in the congregational newspaper. Do you know how few of us, the Black Jews, know that God is wind, water, fire, life, light, power, and mind? This is God, the 7 elements. Each one of these elements, all gods among themselves. But the creator of these, the one ruler of these, is the one and only. He is God. He is in us. out of us, and it's all about us. And without him, we wouldn't exist. Without any one of these gods, we would not exist. Given that Matthew believed that the 7 elements of God, this diagram appeared to have been used to worship and invoke the power and presence of the supreme creator God, an 8th God who appears through the medium of fire. The repetition of the number 8, the image of the fire, and the personal filing relationship with God are noteworthy. Again, the amulet can be translated, rise and give me good luck. Within the 8th fire, you should give me life. The 8th God, my Father. Remember that Matthew began in the sanctified church. He may have borrowed.
Say, there's about 7 people watching, right? There's only 6 likes. I wonder who is actually watching this channel. Because this doesn't sound like y'all are subscribers, or seem like it. So what are you sitting back for waiting on? What exactly is it that you're waiting on? Are you waiting on something that I slip? Maybe mislead people with, or what? You're waiting on the day that I shut the channel down? Why are y'all here? Because this is an important question, man. I see a lot of people that watch this channel, not subscribe, don't like it, but fucking watch it. So I really wonder. Oh yeah, brother, I see you, bro. I saw you. But I trip on the ones that don't say shit. So it's like, I know you don't like my fucking channel. So why do you watch it? Like, I seriously don't understand that shit. You know, like the other day, let me just side point real quick. I'm just going to take my time on this class because I'm already prolonging this part. I just thought it would be important. But let me just say this. The other day, this guy named Circumspect, I totally forgot who he was, but I remembered the title. While VTC and I think Sonny hadn't came on yet, I let the dude on and he had a fucking profile of a naked woman picture and all that shit. That's Job's brother, like brother Job. He used to have his brother come here. That's him. It's like, yo, how fucking low are you guys, man? You watch the channel, you learn from it, but you fucking hate it. Like, y'all need to grow up, bro. You need to grow up. And you need to be out of your emotions. And people sometimes don't like the way you guys are. And that's okay. Not everybody is going to like you. But sometimes you just need to learn how to shut the fuck up. Oh, well, I know how to fight. Yeah, so what? So did I. We're older now. Why the fuck are we still doing that? Listen, I'll say this real quick, family. The business that I do, I listen to, like, I talk to like a lot of people, right? And in a matter of 15 minutes, I ended up talking to 3 older men. And every single one of them cussed me out. One of them even called me, I'm going to say it, he called me a nigger, bro. I was like, what? Excuse me? Yo, you fucking nigger. I'm like, oh my God, bro. And I had to say, you know what, man? You are the 3rd oldest person that I've talked to. And you guys are all fucking, I didn't say fucking, you guys are all rude. And I acted like I was young. I said, I'm 25 years old. This is the example you guys are setting us? Like, what's going on with you elderly men? What is going on? I literally got cussed out the same way. You know what he said? Oh, well, it's just that, you know, I lost my wife and everybody calls me. Bro, you submitted a fucking quote, man. The fuck? It's weird, man. 95% of you people, bro, y'all are sick. Seriously. You 5%ers are probably in here watching and like paying attention and not getting offended with the shit that I'm saying because, you know, I'm not lying. Generations are changing. People are changing, family. Like, man, this is weird, bro. Another earthquake happened already. There's been like 7 major earthquakes this year alone. Never has that ever happened. I mean, it's been several earthquakes, but not so many at that magnitude to completely destroy buildings. Shit, they even knocked down a church.
The fiery conception of God from the common fire baptized holiness Pentecostal conception of God. The multiple God elements in his theology, however, is what makes Matthew's creed most like the religion of the Black Atlantic. Moreover, the ritual use of these diagrams seem to have allowed Matthew to be filled with the presence of God and to relate to the Creator. God as a son relates to the Father. The second round amulet repeats and amplifies this scene in God's immanence and Matthew's own power. The diagram consists of several Hebrew sentences printed over a Magen David, literally a shield of David, as six-pointed star, which is common, Kabbalistic related. After some undecipherable words in the beginning of the papers, the sentence continues. Look, this nigga practicing black magic on you niggas, and y'all don't even know. And you ain't know. The coke practicing black magic on your ass, and you ain't know. These niggas eating poke behind doors, and you ain't know. These niggas poking your wife in the back room, and y'all common, Kabbalistic related. After some undecipherable words in the beginning of the papers, the sentence continues. Look, this nigga practicing black magic on you niggas, and y'all don't even know. And you ain't know. The coke practicing black magic on your ass, and you ain't know. These niggas eating poke behind doors, and you ain't know.
He has a point. I remember, I don't know what camp. I don't know who's watching. Maybe Wadakuya, if Wadakuya was watching, he'd say something. But there was a camp that, you know, there was all hardcore fucking, you know, BHI, keep the commandments and all that shit. Jesus is black, all that Willie stuff, right? And then all of a sudden they just started doing like celebrating Thanksgiving and Christmas. And they're Thanksgiving, by the way. They're like, oh no, every holiday is holiday of God. Look at these pork chops. Look at this bacon. Dude, the brother was like, man, he was so fucking looking forward to taking a bite out of that ham, bro. Seriously. Like, that's what it turns into. Let's continue.
These niggas poking your wife in the back room, and y'all ain't know it. Half of y'all elders like niggas, and you ain't know. I'll kill be the witch finder general. I might continue a little bit more on this. Y'all hit me up if y'all want this PDF and stuff with this proof that Rabbi Matthews was practicing black magic in One West. Stop it.
One West. And y'all didn't even know. You didn't know. So if that's one example of a liar, and it goes very deep rooted, because, you know, they say they're the chosens, right? Like the K's are chosens. These guys say they're the chosens. Right? Now, remember, keep in mind that the K's are say they're the chosens. These guys say they're the chosens. And then you got certain white people that are saying something else. I want to remind you all of this video. Trust me. I want to see if you guys want to really, really be this guy.
Christopher Columbus did not discover America. How you can discover a place where the inhabitants are watching you arrive from the shore, there are actually many other mariners before Columbus that discovered America as well. Decades earlier, even eons earlier, many of these pre-Columbian explorers might have come from Africa. Out that Columbus himself was aware that African mariners had preceded him. In his diary of his second voyage, Columbus tells of how the natives of Hispaniola actually had given him gold-tipped metal spearheads that they said were brought by black-skinned people who had come in large boats from the south and southeast. Coincidence? I think not. No. Christopher Columbus did not discover America.
All right. So apparently, yeah, apparently that. All right. So let's see. I do want to share this with you. I think it's only fair. I think we as adults should start putting history where it belongs. You guys ever played that game Donkey? You know, pin the tail on a donkey and you fucking win, right? But you're blindfolded. And that's kind of how life has been for us. We've been blindfolded for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Playing the donkey and shit. And we're always putting the pin in somewhere else. But in this time, it's like, no, I mean, we got the blindfold, but we can see through it. And we're putting the pin right where it belongs. So remember, keep in mind that this was not a one nation job. I mean, if you really believe in the scriptures, then you should understand where you should find that verse right there. Because when it comes to this thing, I don't know if it's true. This guy's gonna look, listen, I love for people to say it themselves. Like, there's one thing me saying it, you know, I'm raza, I'm Hispanic, quote unquote, or so-called, or Latino, so-called, indigenous, obviously, right? But it's no better than to hear it from the horse's mouth.
It's this thing of, we don't want to face, and I say this as a collective, as black folk or whoever else it may be, we don't want to face the reality that the reason why there were as many slaves sent over to the Western world, or I guess to the Western Hemisphere, to the Americas.
Hey, shout out to Estudiante for Wisdom, bro. He did his video for me. Hold on, bro. This for you, bro. Estudiante for Wisdom did. This is video. Thank you, brother.
¡Viva México, cabrones!
And, you know, it's all good, man. You don't got to be perfect. At least he contributed. Thank you.
Is because there was already a thriving slave trade. A thriving slave trade. Slavery existed already. There were already captured slaves. And we have this idea of, like, the show Roots that was out maybe in the 70s or 80s or whatever it was. We have this idea of Kunta Kinte running for his life, his fellow brethren running for their lives from the slaver. That's less of a reality. And more so, it was,
there were slaves that were auctioned off by African leaders, chieftains, etc. By African leaders, chieftains, etc.
Some called a black conquistador.
Some called a black conquistador.
Who had conquered other African tribes, and they sold them off.
You might know about that. You go look at the picture of the conquistador. It's one black. Well, what is he doing? They had a black king. They had a Canaanite conquistador with him.
Check it out. Bam, bam. Wait, Mr. Butt Plug. So what you're saying is that there was only one? How the fuck could there be one black man around a bunch of white people when supposedly black people were the lower of the totem pole? All of a sudden there was one. Bro, well, there's one, there's many. It's like cockroaches. Stop it, Butt Plug. Bam, 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 bam. All right? It says here, these are just a few so-called black conquistadors, okay? These are just, he said, just one random conquistador guy. Just one random guy. No, man, look. Juan Garrido, a very famous one. Sebastián Toral, 2. Pedro Fulupo, 3. Juan Bardelas, 4. Antonio Perez, 5. Juan Portugués, 6. Juan Garcia, 7. Miguel Ruiz, 8. Juan Valiente, 9. Juan Beltran, 10. This is just a few.
African leaders, chieftains, etc.
The business was already thriving. This idea of stolen people is largely a myth. That's the reality of it. And so that's a difficult pill to swallow because it dismantles this entire idea of, well, it was racism that created slavery. The two are almost inseparable when you think of antebellum slavery in America. To think that it had to do with anything other than slavery it's almost an insult to some folks. That's why it matters to understand true historic context. And to accept it is one thing entirely different, but at least to be exposed to the truth.
But we don't know this part. These black conquistadors, let's read it again. These black conquistadors set an example for subsequent racial relations throughout the entire Spanish colonial experience, living their daily lives with degrees of complexity that rarely would be achieved by black men and women in the early English settlements in the Caribbean and in North America. Watch this. Here it goes. Indeed, wherever Spain set its flag of conquest in the Americas, Africans helped hold the pendant. That doesn't sound like one, my friend.
Some folks out there will still say to themselves, well, that means that these sellout black Negroes were selling out their own people. No.
There were black rulers, such as one who was oftentimes praised.
The wealthiest man in human history, they say, Mansa Musa, who was a Muslim himself and believed in many of these same statutes.
He had tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands,
of reported slaves. Individually, he could go down as the largest slaveholder, maybe next to a pharaoh or something of that nature.
The largest slaveholder was a black man.
But again, the narrative doesn't fit, therefore it must acquit.
It says here, others had been owners of slaves in Africa. It did not therefore seem to them unnatural for a Negro in America to hold his brethren in bondage when he had become free and able to buy his fellows. Now, us indigenous never did that to each other. Free blacks became slave owners early in history. Hold on a second. Indeed, one of the first known legal sanctions of slavery, other than as punishment for crime, involved a black owner in 1654. You see this, family? 1654. Anthony Johnson and his wife Mary, in a court suit, gained the services of their black servant for life. Actually, slave owning by free Negroes was so common in the period of the Commonwealth as to pass unnoticed and without criticism by those who consciously recorded events of the time. How coincidental is that, huh? So you black folks had slaves and you purposely erased that shit from history, but you constantly recorded so-called white folks as being slavers. John H. Russell in his Free Negroes in Virginia, 1865 wrote, the most remarkable property right possessed by free Negroes was the right to acquire, own, and alienate slaves. Indeed, more than 20 years from the time when a free Negro first appears in the courts, there was no legal restriction upon their rights to own indentured white servants. So as you can see, 1448. Look at all these years. 1690. Look at the Empress of Rome. Mother of Nero. 1575. These coat of arms matter, fam. Okay? You see this? The Virgin Mary and Jesus Christ. You see this? Like, supposedly it appeared to Juan Diego. Well, that whole thing was BS. That was an African thing. You know what I'm saying? Again, these two nations. Hold up. Look at this right here. Look at this right here. Look at this right here. Two horns. Two horns right here, family. Look, these are plates, okay? These coat of arms, they matter. That's why they're crests. So when you actually see a crest on King James, who authorized the translation, his crest is of the North African Saracens. So I know he's not an Israelite because the Saracens are not Israelites. They know who they descend from. They're of the Hamitic race. It's come on. Black Hebrew Israelites. You're saying this guy, is King James, authorized the Bible, which is a Protestant, so far confirming, okay? King, and he's black. All right? You're saying he is your people, because he ain't my people. Damn sure. Watch this. Virginia Company of London. What does it say here? The Virginia Company of London was a joint stock company chartered, meaning established, by King James the First in 1606 to establish colony in North America. Such a venture allowed the crown to reap the benefits of colonialization, natural resources, new markets for English goods, leverage against who? The Spaniards, without bearing the cost. So, wait, hold on a second. I don't understand. This is and family. I really wanted to like. Wait a minute. Is it the same King James? This is the very same person. So you're claiming that this man is an Israelite, right here. The same man that chartered and owned part of the Virginia Company, which was selling slaves. Hold on a second. Bruh. For real? Look at this right here. Holy Roman Knights of the Holy Roman Empire, the so-called black man and so-called white man. You guys are always voting. You guys are always, together. The North and the South to keep slavery. Europe and Africa? What more? Black conquistadors, white conquistadors? Republicans, Democrats? Aren't so-called blacks Democrats and whites Republicans? Or vice versa? You've been playing this game for some time, but now we see your asses now. Look at this cross right here. Look at this right here, right? Look. When these so-called Hebrew or, Moreno Hebrew Israelites say that they were ruling Europe and they were Hebrews, I ask them, why were you pushing Christianity? Because that's all I see in the pictures that you claim are you. Let's continue. What he is. Painted panel from the outer right hand, which the young man wears the crown of the nobleman and carries the red and white military pennant and shields the Holy Roman Empire, circa 1447. Spaniards call them. Because it is truly necessary that they come into our district, for it happened that since the arrival of the bishop, whom you sent, named Francisco Toral, he brought and distributed
black fathers.
They are falsely named clergymen.
And yet you never hear about this. It is non-existent. These people are essentially subjugated to the shadow realm. See, it's the same sort of phenomenon as with the entire BLM scam, right? Where you hear these tragic stories of young black men and young black women being mowed down, gunned down by their own people in their own neighborhoods at mass, at scale. I think during this last 4th of July, we just celebrated. In Chicago, there was like 10 or 15 deaths, and how many people injured, how many dozens of people just during that time. Not a single squeal from the so-called Black Lives Matter movement, because it doesn't fit the narrative. There's no white man to point to. Therefore, there's no money to be made.
It should not be the black clothes fathers. They really take money. They really ask for a great deal of money. And he says, they drive us mad over money. Therefore, these words we say to you are not lies, for this is really the truth. We will prove it now. For there were many black padres, 21, that came with the Spaniards, and not one of them knew our language. Here, one of them did, but the padre did not enter in to teach. But at that time, there were no elders, just really boys. They traded in the other Caja, meaning the other tribes. Here's when he finishes. Moreover, they wish to say little. The black padres, those black ones, they hated us. So now we're talking about Mayas. Mayas are calling these people black. I got one more real quick. All right, hold up.
First of all, let's start with something light. Columbus initiated the transatlantic slave trade in early February 1494, first sending several dozen enslaved Tainos, these are the native people of the island he landed on, to Spain. Columbus described those he enslaved as well-made and of good intelligence.
Hold on!
100 of them rounded up, and had 550 of the best males and females, according to one witness, Michel de Cuneo, chained and sent as slaves to Spain. Of the rest who were left, that person writes, the announcement went around that whoever wanted them could take as many as he pleased, and this was done. And understand that significant numbers of even those early slave deliveries ended up dying en route, possible. Now, the initial...
Sorry, I meant to play this one. I just want to remind you of something.
Diferenciándonos de la política del norte, y aquí viene el problema que quiero plantear, digamos, con exactitud. Ojalá. Y es que la política del norte cada vez más es el rechazo profundo del éxodo. Es una política racista, y por eso lo de Palestina tiene tanta importancia para alumbrarnos el inmediato futuro para nosotros. Que no van a matar solo los niños palestinos, sino que van a defender su modus de vida, como le quieran llamar, que es blanco, que es ario, que está basado en altos niveles de consumo, como todos ustedes saben, que hoy es un consumo que se construye sobre la muerte de los demás, porque es lo que provoca la crisis climática. Es decir, el consumo blanco ario del norte está acercándonos a la extinción de la humanidad a través de la crisis climática. No voy a explicar eso aquí, otro tema, el cambio químico en la atmósfera. Y ese cambio químico en la atmósfera estimula el éxodo. Entonces, los problemas políticos y de inestabilidad de nuestros países, que ya arrojan una población que va hacia México, cada vez crecerán, pero por otro motivo que tiene que ver con la falta del agua, con la desertización, por el empobrecimiento, etcétera, etcétera, etcétera. Crisis climática que será respondida por el norte como en Palestina, quebrando el derecho internacional. No los van a invitar, no les van a permitir la entrada, ametrallarán y usarán campos de concentración.
That's a serious thing. It's happening already in other countries. All right, so this book is the one that I have in Spanish, okay? So I found a Google page, all right, that translates it for us. Now, I can read Spanish, but I'm still learning to read it in context. So when I read it to you guys, sometimes I feel like I miss something, you know what I'm saying? So here we see in this book, which is El Descubrimiento, la participación judía en el descubrimiento de América. Excuse me. And this guy is María Saban, Juan María Saban. Funny as it may be, Argentinian. You know, in Argentina, in case you don't know, in Argentina, there's a lot of these Eskenazis, you know, Khazars. So here's what he writes. This is what he writes about you. All right? So let me see if I can just get to... Give me a second. Is this one? I'm going to have to go back. Is this one right here? All right, here it goes. Oh, no. My bad. This is not it. This is El Decreto de Napoleón. No wonder I was like, nah, bro, that's not it. That's not it. Okay, hold on. Give me a second, family. because I've been uploading a lot of pictures, so forgive me. Let me see. Let me go back. Come on, dude. You need to find this shit right away, okay? Because, like, there's no time to wait. Let me see. Hold on. Is this it? Oh, here we go. Okay, cool. All right, so this is the one that I'm talking about. Mario Javier Saban, all right? So don't miss this. When you start reading this in Spanish, obviously it's talking about a Jewish heritage. Here, I'll even start it like this. I'll read this first page and then I'll skip to and we'll get to the nitty-gritty. Jewish participation in the discovery of America. This is a 16-page book. It's worth like 150. Very hard to find though, so it's probably worth more. You guys do yourself the favor looking for it. I guarantee it's going to be hard. And remember, this is in Spanish, but I have a Google translator that I took a picture of, and it translated for us. That's why like letters are smaller, and bigger. Okay, I didn't do none of this shit. Okay, I've shared this book with you guys before, but in Spanish. It reads: It is incredible that the same monarch who decided on the absolute expulsion of the Iberian Jews tolerated the existence of Jews and converts at the royal court. Right. It is not surprising that Ferdinand of Aragon was a great friend of the Jews in his early years until his marriage to the future Queen Isabella of Castile. Given his well-known Jewish genealogy that traced back to his legendary great-grandmother, so Ferdinand was a so-called Jew, Sephardic. The famous Paloma de Toledo, and because of his own father, John Aragon, had been cured of blindness for the great Hebrew Iberian physician Ibn Cresques. Anyways, Ferdinand of Aragon, connection to his Jewish great-grandmother, was through his mother, and according to the historian Salvador de Madariaga, which I've shared with you guys, that piece of shit, when John II sent his son Ferdinand to Sicily as king, he had organized a political advisory council for him, all right, composed mostly of new Christians. Now, as you guys know now, Ferdinand was a so-called Jew. Excuse me. Let me get a drink. Hold on. Shit. All right. If you read this book, you're going to find out that they're all basically that. The Castilian nobles, for their own economic interest, desired the King of England, the King of Portugal, or the Duke of Berry as Isabel's husband, but never Ferdinand of Aragon. It was finally the Marrana Pedro de la Caballeria who tipped the scales in Castile towards the marriage with Ferdinand. The interest in the union between Castile and Aragon was motivated primarily by the chaotic state of Aragonese financial reserves. So these Aragonese were, quote, quote, Jews. Bought a necklace worth 40,000 ducats from the king so that he could present it to Isabel for her wedding day. So even though they were expelled, they still got control.
A ver, que alguien me explique.
All right. So here in this book, he's basically telling you, like, hey, man, we really didn't get expelled. And all of the books that they write about, supposedly they're, being mistreated. I don't know, man. You can decide if it's true. But then all of a sudden, on page 6 of the book, it says this. And I don't know where, why, or how they even decided to put it in here. Okay. But they did. Page 5, sorry. Finally, the Inquisition response was swift. On August 3rd, 1942, exactly the same day that Admiral Christopher CULON departed from the port of Palos de la Frontera, the deadline for the Jews to leave Spain was reached. Coincidence or not, watch, Jews and Jewish converts who supported the great admiral were convinced in many cases that beyond the Atlantic Ocean, there existed a kingdom whose inhabitants traced their origins back to the ancient Hebrews of the kingdom of Israel. This is a Jewish person writing this shit to his people. See, they always write it to themselves. The Jews and Jewish converts, so we know that Jewish means converts, who supported the great admiral were convinced in many cases that beyond the Atlantic Ocean there existed a kingdom whose inhabitants traced their origins back to the ancient Hebrews of the kingdom of Israel. Remember, I kept saying out, like, bro, they knew They didn't show up by coincidence. The way that you've been taught has been wrong. Time to peel the veil. This is to say, they firmly believed in the existence of a place on earth where the lost tribes of Israel surely believed. Remember, this is in Spanish. This man wrote it, and he's a Jew himself, so-called. This conviction from Argentina. This conviction was based on the interpretation of the ancient rabbis, Hebrew spiritual leaders, and on the account of Jewish travelers returning from distant communities. Are you guys listening? Are you guys listening to what I'm reading? Or is it just kind of like walking over your fucking head? These people, prior to 1492, had a concept that there were Israelites somewhere far, somewhere over there in those waters, because the scriptures talked about a land never dealt with, and that these people migrated there somehow, some way. This conviction was based on the interpretation of ancient rabbis, Hebrew spiritual leaders, and on the accounts of Jewish travelers returning from the distant communities. Vicente Risco comments, according to the Jerusalem Talmud, there are Israel. Listen to this. I want you guys to fucking just please, like, if tonight is the night to hear this shit, because there's not a lot of people that are hearing this shit tonight. Tonight is for you to hear this shit. Okay? These are they saying this about you. This is not me. This is not someone, and I don't get nothing for this. I'm reading you a book, 16 pages long, actually older, from 1980, written in Spanish from some dude in Argentina who happens to be a Khazar, and he wrote it to his people, a book that you can't even fucking find. Writes all this shit and says, according to the Jerusalem Talmud, there are Israelites hidden somewhere on earth, whereby special providence on God. Now, do I put a lot of weight on the Talmud? No, but I don't need the Talmud to put weight on it because I already know the scriptures talked about it. We talked about it. Verse 28, verse 32, verse 30. A cloud covers them to preserve them from foreign peoples. This hidden land was what Columbus was actually supposed to be searching for through his project. Listen, to all you motherfuckers that hate this channel, fuck that puto. Fuck that puto. To all you motherfuckers that say I don't bring shit out, fuck that puto. Fuck that puto. And to all you motherfuckers that are scared to debate me, fuck that puto. Fuck that puto. Ezra, or Ezra's, which is in the Apocrypha, the Hebrew scribe. Remember, keep in mind who's writing this shit and who's been holding it back from you for a long fucking time. 16 pages is how thin this book is, man. Had a vision in Babylon through which he imagined the 10 tribes of Israel in distant lands. Okay, we're going that way. In distant lands, right? This further intensifies the Jews' search for those 10 tribes, which is why when 1492 supposedly happened, it wasn't necessarily the way you were told. Oh, I got to go somewhere so I can go trade with those Indians. Nah. Why? And I'm going to show you another book to follow up with it. Everything that I say and believe, it's because I've studied it and read about it. In Spanish, in English, confirmed it. Man, I even gone as far as trying to translate some of the languages, again, using, some apps, because I care about this shit. I either do work, take care of my family, go coach with my daughter, or you have me here. Maybe every now and then I'll go see a movie with my kids. I like going to movies, man. Anyways, the book of Ezra was written in Hebrew and Aramaic. I want you to not forget those two words, Hebrew, Aramaic. Please isolate them separately from whatever you're thinking and remember those two fucking words. Please because you're going to find out how important this is. The book of Ezra was written in Hebrew and Aramaic. Remember, keep in mind that these people already were assuming who you were. All right? And they were basing it off the scriptures as well as Ezra, and all the authors agree that the prophet speaks of the new world. All authors. What the fuck am I talking about here?
That's gonna hurt!
Bro, this is not fake shit. These are people saying it loudly within themselves, behind closed doors, when they're fucking chewing on that cigar and smoking it, drinking their fucking expensive liquor. How we have these idiots. We know, and there is general agreement among historian explorers that Cristobal Colon read Ezra and Isaiah, who said, now, question is, why the fuck would he read that if he's a Christian?
Wait a minute. Who are you?
He's not. He's a Sephardic Jew. Okay? He read Ezra and Isaiah, who said, to me shall be gathered the inhabitants of the distant islands, with the ships of Tarshish at their end. Tarshish was in Spain. Bring your children from afar with their gold and silver for the sake of the Lord your God and because of the Holy One of Israel. For his glory, for he glorifies you. Isaiah 60:9. And for behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former things shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. Isaiah 65:17. Since Christopher Columbus was a reader of those books and of the Bible, it is not surprising that the rabbinic interpretation of the prophecies contained therein a strong impact on the mind of the future discoverer. So he didn't just show up here because he was looking for fucking Hindu motherfuckers. He was looking for you. He wanted rasa. He wanted what you have, your corn, your unleavened bread. Your diet is in the Bible, man. I proved it to you guys. Your diet, your clothing, your folklore. Dude, nobody can match what I've been showing, man. Nobody, man. Sephardic Jews, originally from Spain, fuck them, they're not, knew that if a state formed by the 10 tribes of Israel were found, it would come to their defense. But logically, it was necessary to finance the project. Remember that shit. So when these Anglo-Saxoners now all of a sudden getting mad because supposedly these people are being funded to go kill Gaza, well, you owe it to them. They gave you this shit on the platter. 1776 was an actual document written by a bunch of Freemasons who believed in the Talmud and Kabbalah and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Not really the Bible. Again, Sephardic Jews originally from Spain knew that if a state formed by the 10 tribes of Israel were found, it would come to their defense. Remember, these were the Sephardics. Who's in charge now? Not them, Ashkenazis, so-called. But logically, it was necessary to finance the project, which, if realized, could imply the future political redemption of the Hebrew people. You're a Hebrew. At least when they showed up here, they realized, damn, that they're not Hebrews, and you were. Because they wouldn't have killed you if you weren't. This was the thinking of the Jews of Sepharad, supposedly Spain. The Iberian Jews always remember the words of Deuteronomy where we read, nor is it the Torah, that is the Old Testament, beyond the sea. And he continues asking, who will cross over for us to the other side of the sea, to bring it to us and proclaim it to us so that we may observe it? That's, Deuteronomy 30:13. Look it up. It actually says that. The rabbinic interpretation of the Judo-Spanish sage Ibn Ezra is as follows. The expression beyond the sea signifies a distant place, remoteness, that is what lies beyond the great ocean, that is the Atlantic Ocean. This is why several hundred years earlier, the Jews of the Iberian Peninsula believed that Columbus's project was not far-fetched. And precisely for the reason stated, it turns out that the main protectors and promoters of the discovery of America were the Sephardic Jews. That is the Jews of Spain. In this regard, among the Iberian Jews who supported the plan, and the most prominent were, as you can see these names, right? All of that shit. And by the way, were the first ones to be called Dukes of Medinaceli or Medici. You know what I'm saying? So, by the way, don't be too scared by questioning your fucking descent, you punk ass motherfuckers. Jewish converts, Lewis, whatever, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Let me pause for a moment. Yeah, what's up, brother? Said deep stuff, G. Oh, man, appreciate it, bro. There's no other way, man. There's no other way, dude. Like I said, it takes a lot of time to do a class, but I've been reading this for a while, and I figured let me break it in real quick. It's hard to find information like this, man. Yeah, this shit is deep. Luckily, man, just one, I was like looking at some apps, and I saw this app translator, and I looked at that page. I said, hold on a second, let's see if it works. And I aimed it, and it actually translated, and like it gave me a picture of the translation. So I took a picture of it, and then like read it side to side. Like it says the same shit. So obviously, I want to show it. The FBA is starting shit with Sonny G, trying to get him to. Well, I mean, Sonny don't even monetize the channel, bro. At least from what I understand. I think at one point he was like he would take donations and shit, but I don't think he wants to do that no more. So they can go to hell. The funny thing is that they don't even come and bother this channel. I mean, I'm sure he's told them before, "No, bro, come fuck with me, man. I'll be your Huckleberry. Yeah, I want to debate, dude. We can do it. Just, dude, sometimes they'll gang up on 6. Hey, listen, I'm the last one out of 10. Trust me, I know how to fucking argue with at least 4 of you at the same time. Dealing with a different beast. It says, when the Duke of Medinaceli met Columbus, he hosted him in his own home and began to secure various forms of support for the admiral. Initially, he asked for the help and blah, 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 blah. Whatever, all that shit, right? I don't give a fuck about that. Whatever, dude. Now, why is this important? Remember, it said that they were obviously looking at, directions towards this place, right? They were saying that, there may be some Hebrew people. By the way, this is the book. Okay, that's the book I read to you just now in English, translated. Okay, so if you can find it, dude, by all means, take full advantage of that shit. It's fucking wonderful. It's a short little story, but it's so deep. It's so nurturing to hear them say it with their own fucking mouths, that they know who we are. Like there's no arguing anymore, bro. I don't need somebody to kiss my fucking boots, bro. I don't give a fuck about that shit. Kiss my boots. Hey, que me gano que me estés besando las pinches patas, güey. For all I know, you're a pervert. You know what I mean? Like, some motherfuckers want to kiss your feet just because, like, they're foot fetishes and shit. I don't know, man. That's kind of gay, bro. You make a dude kiss your feet. That's kind of gay, dog. I mean, I don't know. What you guys think, bro? Do you think that's kind of gay and shit or what? You think I'm wrong? Or am I? I mean, I don't know, but let me know, man. If I would not ask nobody to do that shit. What the fuck for? If you are a true Israelite, why would you need that type of I don't know, what do you call that word? Reassurance, I think. Not confirmation. That shit's more like reassurance, bro. Damn it, man. Where's the book at? Fuck, hurry up. I'm going to have to pull it up from the files. Okay, I'm going to go through one more time. Oh, here it goes right here. All right, so this is the book, Jews, God, and History. This guy is one of their famous writers, okay? Page 371, I'm going to confirm exactly what we read, that they knew who you were, and they always have, and they always will, until you wake the fuck up, until you realize who you are. As you can see, your Jesus doesn't work. Your Virgin Mary doesn't work either. They don't work. You're getting deported, and you're getting separated from your family. And there's people still shooting each other, selling drugs and cocaine and all that shit, and you know what I mean? All that fucking between up north and here, and bullying each other up. Does it even matter? Page 371. Let's confirm exactly what we read. Jewish history in America begins with the expulsion of the Jews from Spain in the same year and the month Columbus set sail on his first voyage in the search of a trade route to India. We know now that that's not the way it worked, but, you know, for the sake of the layman, they're going to say it that way, right? In secret, they know what the fuck they're talking about. They know which India they're talking about. They know which basically, they know what India they're talking about. Jews served on the board with small flotilla as able-bodied seamen, map readers, interpreters, and surgeons. I want you to really remember those two words that I told you to isolate. Do you guys remember those two words I told you to isolate? Because I'm about to read them to you right now. As a footnote to history. Now remember what that means. In all your entire life, whether you're 40, 50, 60, 70, or 20, 25, however old you are listening to this channel, okay, because it's really listening right now and watching, you know, my face don't matter. This is what matters. I want you to understand that in all your history, you need to make a footnote to that. As a footnote to history, we must record the fact. History must record fact. True, true, true. That's like triple true, okay? That the Indians, meaning you stupid Venus, you Mexicans, you Raza, Taino, Arawaks, all of us, indigenous brothers and sisters, you beautiful people. I'm fucking wrong with y'all, you know what I mean? You, indigenous beautiful people on the Caribbean islands, where the flotilla first landed, were greeted in Hebrew and Arabic. Remember those two words, Hebrew and Aramaic, when we were reading the other book regarding what they were reading on Ezra? Right. So it says that the natives here first landed greeted in Hebrew and Arabic by Juan Luis de Torres, a Jewish interpreter brought the flagship. For Columbus was certain that the natives spoke either Hebrew or Aramaic. Why was he certain? Because he was a Sephardic Jew. And because he studied Ezra, the Bible, Isaiah, Deuteronomy, and he listened to the rabbis that told him in regards to what the Talmud said to them too. How do we know this is true? Because he doesn't deny it. It was the Torahs, incidentally, who discovered Ma'is and brought it to Europe. So here he confirms, like, hey, listen, they spoke Hebrew and Aramaic. He could have said, well, you know, eventually they didn't. So we try to figure them out. But through our figuring out, hey, it was the Torah. No, he didn't say that. There was like the Torah is incidentally because they spoke that language. Fuck, man. Brought it to Europe where with the potato, it enriched the diet of the Western man, leaving ourselves open to the charge that we credit the Jews, right? With everything. Do you understand now why you see the war over there and these motherfuckers are supporting that shit? See, these layman ass dumb fucks don't even realize that these are their daddies. And they gave him a fucking platter, okay? Now, let's end it with this shit because I was first reading it. This was the book that I was first reading to you, and I had it wrong, so my bad. Hold on, let me pull it up. And then you'll see exactly and connect all the dots, my friends. So this is from a book from Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte, by the way, was a, what do you call it, a Freemason. We're going to read it from the top, okay? It says, Calumet himself has not, remember, oh, by the way, this is also a book in Spanish, which is why I was so happy to show this to y'all, because I found an app that I could take a picture of the page and translate it for you. Because, again, I can read in Spanish, but not in context, not in the way that I can read it this way, so I can actually eloquently explain these things to y'all. Calumet himself has not been more fortunate. After tiring himself of relating these or other places, he explains himself thus. But what are these countries? The Hebrews themselves do not know. Joseph, son of Gordian, says that the Alexander the Great, wanting to cross the dark mountains that separate the lands of the Israelites from the other nations, was prevented by a voice that told him, beware of entering the house of God. But he also does not say what mountain these are where he had heard such a voice. Okay? Now, watch this. Manasseh ben Israel claimed that the Israelites of the 10 tribes were transported to Tartarus and that from there they spread to America. This is, by the way, Napoleon Bonaparte, somebody writing what he's saying. This was this way of the thinking is not only Manasseh, but also that of many other wise men who had believed that the 10 tribes still remain in Tartarus, and that is why Jews are found in those countries in greater numbers than in other parts of Europe, which means like Asian people, okay? Manasseh proves his assertion by citing several Jewish practices observed by the Tartars. They say, do not eat pork. They are circumcised at 9 years old. They observe the law of Levites with a brother marrying his brother's widow. If he dies, y'all get the point, okay? It says, from Tartary, he sends them to China, and regarding bringing them to this America. See here how Mostacino explains it in his account addressed to Manasseh, where I passed to the kingdom of Chile and found many Israelites hidden behind the mountain ranges. At least that is what I described as described it as upon arriving of the banks of the river. For having made many signs and spoken of several languages. Okay. Let me see if I'm doing it right. Yes, I'm going that way, right? I'm going that way. Yeah, I am going that way. It says several languages. Then it says this. Deuteronomy understood me, and some men, those who pronounce these words from the Hebrew. My approach, listen, Israel, the Lord is our God. So he's saying that this is what they spoke to him like, right? He is the only Lord. When asked who their ancient parents were, they answered Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the descendants of Reuben. These are people in South America. They recounted their arrival in that country. By the way, this is Napoleon Bonaparte. This is not a random person. This is Napoleon Bonaparte being written. Decretos de Napoleon Bonaparte. All right, this is in Spanish, but I'm translating in English. Sorry. They recounted their arrival in that country as a miraculous means, and that the true God would come at the end of many centuries to put them in possession of the universe. Here is the greatest sign of the Israelites waiting on the coming of the Messiah. On this subject, Montesino composed a treaty in which he says that Asia and America had been one continent separated by God by the Straits of Anian, and that before the separation, he caused the parts of the Israelites to remain on this continent. He claims to support this opinion with the support of Scripture. There we go again. The islands will wait for me. They will wait for me. The islands await my law, etc. And concludes that it is the America designated by the name of islands by the prophet Isaiah. So you see how you motherfuckers are in the Bible? Share. Why are you guys afraid, bro? Why don't you raise your kids with this mentality? That child is a Hebrew. You're going to raise that child with that mentality. They're special. They got something different. We're not better than people. Is that we can look at people eye to eye. We don't have to look up to them, nor do we have to look down to them. We can see them eye to eye because that's the spirit of the Most High. That's not being offensive. That's just knowing who you are. And you need to raise your kids with that mentality. However, despite all these opinions, since we have not found a detailed account of this nation's voyage from Tartary, which everyone agrees they inhabited, to the Straits of Anian, which everyone agrees they inhabited, by the way, much less their passage through it to America, it has been impossible to resolve our doubts through the accounts of these ancient authors. Like, so he's saying that at the same time, right? So now let me show you the next page. Let's see if I can go here. Brings well, the letter of William Penn. So he's confirming. He says, the letters of William Penn, when speaking of the inhabitants he found on the other side of Delaware River, around Newcastle and the Cape Hindlopin, state that not only their customs, but also their language was a corrupt Hebrew, which I've showed you guys examples of similar, pronunciations with like the Maya and Semitic. And I believe, I think it's this page here. This is the Nexus spoken language, the link between the Maya and Semitic. So we see here that on the bottom, it says, let me see, what page 13? The Quichemaya list is almost the títulos del Popol Vuh, an ancestor called Balaam Akab. Balaam Akab, whose people lived in the east across the ocean in a land called Tulan. Kitchian Civilization, Carmack, page 287. This ancestor, he says, the Quichemaya were supposedly white, man. I don't give a fuck about that shit. We come in different colors, but you know how these people are. They claim to be a people of two lordships, meaning like, you know, Northern Kingdom, Southern Kingdom, okay? Two lordships whose ancestors had come from a region of the seven caves. They listed their forefathers with the title of Balaam, which appropriately in Hebrew means Lord. So in this case, Balaam Akab. Here, we'll end it with these. Let me show you this real quick, so you can see. Matter of fact, you know what I'll do, just so you don't think that I'm going to leave it like that. I'll give you one more page, which is page 14, I believe. Can you open it, please? So page 14 talks about, the Bible has it that the forefathers of the people of Israel and Judah, one people, two lordships, was called Jacob, Jacob, later surnamed Israel. His name is based on the Hebrew prime root Akab, meaning supplant, as he was to supplant his older brother Esau. Were you an Israelite of his time, you could have referred to him as Baal Jacob or Jacob. If you were referring to his immediate family, right, you would be like Baalem Jacob. You guys get that? Now watch this. It says here, to carry this idea a bit further, had you followed the common Hebrew practice of dropping the first vowel of the name, Yitzhak or Sak, Abraham or Baham, Jacob or Akab, you would have vocalized Baalem Akab, which, as you can see, is the name of the Maya forefather. Baalem Jacob. So here we see a similarity. Watch this real quick. I'm going to show you where I'll go to here. I'll show you this page. Let me bring it down. Bringing it down. Let's go to Blue Letter Bible. We'll just get anywhere. Genesis 25:27. Okay. Genesis 25:27. Sorry. It's already there. All right. So we see Esau. We see Cunning Hunter. We see Jacob. Okay. So let's go to Jacob. And we see this.
Strong's H 3290. Yaakov.
Now you would think, oh, it doesn't sound the same. Okay, remember the name, right? Balaam, Jacob, or Akab. Where is that? Is this? Oh no, this is 13. This is Balaam Akab. Okay, remember that name, Akab? Okay, and it said Yaakov. This is H3290, but when you go to the root word of H3290, you get what again? Akab. Akab. Just get rid of the W. AKAB. AKAB. AKAB.
Strong's H 6117. Akav.
And Akab means what? Akab. Balaam Akab. Lord Jacob. Shit. It's getting out of hand. I'm arguing with a few of them too. Don't lose your brain for it. Yeah, that's just let it go, dog. Don't even trip. What up, Break? What up, Break? All right, fam. I hope you guys appreciate that information, man. Honestly, we are done. Thank you so much. Please share, like, and if you can appreciate this, then please subscribe. We don't earn anything in this channel. We do it all out of righteous heart. And I say we because, you know, there's people here that watch this channel and follow it for a while. But it's just me. Ugh. Don't you guys worry about it, man. I know how to take care of myself. Shit, if you guys only know the goals that I have in mind. Anyways, that doesn't matter. Good night, man. Appreciate y'all. Thank you very much. Shalom, shalom, saludos. Cuídense. Take care of your family. Take care of your kids. Love your children, please. They're the future. And respect yourselves. And make sure that you take care of your significant other, man. Because obviously, if we can't even handle that shit, then what's the fucking point of even considering, even loving the fact that we got this type of fucking heritage? Good night.
This is the cipher tweet. Ahora Babylon Real. En esta ocasión traigo a los gangsters más gangsters de la zona. Y vengo con la familia gang. ¿Cómo dice? Llaman a Real. Traigo el mensaje puro y crudo para el momento. No palabras vanas que rompen los sentimientos. Lucharé y derribaré los muros del lamento. Pídeme pues te daré los sueños que están muertos. Nunca el demonio dio mensajes de amor, pero tampoco los dio el ángel que nos abandona. Quizás miremos diferente el reloj, pero tu cielo es el infierno donde el amor murió. Political violence, criminal physical redemption hasta cacacar el baile. Typical style, musical fraile. Mucha es la promesa en la que se han llevado el aire. Love, love, love. Siente verdad como doy mi corazón. No more, no more, no more. It's a reggae cipher. Feed the world. What time is it? Es de reventar el beat. Throw the tangle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí. What time is it? El de reventar el beat. Flow the tangle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí.
Fue que me brotaron alas y ganas de volar. En las buenas mi terreno lleno, en las malas solar. Un muro que decorar, mis hermanos me sirven de guía, mi estrella polar. Guarda los hilos, me duele hasta respirar. Solo quiero ver verdad. Sigo buscándome lejos de lo que piensas. Más fácil de lo que crees, el esfuerzo trae recompensas. Vale la experiencia si es intensa. No tires de la cuerda si está tensa. Miraban al ocaso con tristeza. Las estrellas devolvían con grandeza su mirar. Nos vimos floreciendo en la maleza. La belleza de las piezas y comienzan a encajar.
Es de reventar el beat. Throw the tangle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí. What time is it? El de reventar el beat. Throw the tangle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí.
51, 52, con un micro de bambú, más vueltas que Passepartout. Me siento en la old school. It's magnetic kung fu, it's a reggae magnatur. Por las almas sonrientes que acompañan a Zazú. En bambalinas y balú, son rimas de menú, no salidas de Benur, pero cálida y del sur. Homie, always lonely, but I feeling like a gangsta. 52, 53, a mí sí me ves venir, por eso me llaman King, ese fue mi devenir. De marchar o seguir, nunca tuve que elegir, la music me eligió a mí, no tengo nada más que decir. Saifa, Puniga, Loba, Grimble, Fire, Killerman, Smoker, Chusta, feel like a Rasta, Child Metal, Kimanes, original a reggae Saifa again.
Interna en la villa del pingüino, de los Calin en la antena y los que se encuentran dormidos zarandean tus emociones cual barril de vino, cosas feas quizás en tus ideas, pero aquí no, yo no atino, disparo sin mirar a todo aquel vampiro
señores, y la paz de nuevo aquí. What time is it?
Es de reventar el beat.
Flow the jungle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti. Pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo
falta
aquí.
presentación si existe nivel. Sobreviviendo en Babilonia escribí al papel mis problemas cuando al final pude entender que para ser feliz solo tienes que querer. Que solamente hay una vida y es para vivir. Busca siempre una alternativa para seguir. No dejes nunca que te digan que no es así. Y prende un poco de sativa para estar chill. Ey, superando ansiedades con el humo de cancha. Manchas de un pasado trágico en la cancha. Seguimos siendo fuertes, su mierda no me engancha. Mientras otros esperando a que lleguen en lancha. No matter where you come, no matter where you come from. Solo importa que prestes atención a este sound. Desde the original, kill a man al mando. Oh na na na.
Mira, soy un warrior, sonido legendario. Disfruto cada segundo cuando me subo al escenario. Tengo fuego en los labios, sigo cual mercenario. Pasos de gigante y cora revolucionario. Siento que es necesario, suena el reggae en los barrios. Para que cale el mensaje y para salvar a los más sabios. Entre en mi imaginario, quemo cheques bancarios. Si vienes con la mala vibra, mejor bro, cambia tu itinerario. Ya, 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 ya. Cuando ruge el león suena la música real. Venimos con el ya, 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 ya. Sonido de guión es el sonido original. Ya, 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 ya. Reggae de corazón es el que se hace en unidad. Ya, 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 ya. What time is it? Es de reventar el beat. Flow the jungle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti. Pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí. What time is it?
Es de reventar el beat.
Flow the jungle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti. Pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú. Tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.